Darren, rather than jumping to the cloud because of a mandate or a fad, how have you gone about making decisions on what business or mission capabilities to move into cloud computing services or environments?
Dave, that's a great question. I think it hits right to the key point we need to focus on. We can't make a rash decision to jump to the cloud just because it seems like a great idea or we think it might save us some money. There are a number of issues and questions we're going to have to face and answer, frankly, before we make that jump. First and foremost, I'd have to say, is around information sensitivity. First question I'd ask is, does this information belong in a public cloud? Does this information require greater protections by virtue of what it is and how it's used? Great example I would use has to do with privacy information or law enforcement information, which does require greater protections. And I'd make a note that based on those types of sensitivities, it may require us to increase the types of controls, but also increase the cost to protect that information. The second area I'd focus on is around the business need, the business mission. Services and solutions that would best support infrastructure, and I would categorize those things around things like commodities, such as email and storage, require a different solution or may require a different solution than those things that would support a mission or business system of the agency. The other thing I'd also focus on is who's going to use that information, whether it's the public or it's the agency staff. That may drive some of the technical requirements that we're going to have to face. Things around scalability, about availability, surge capacity. I think about the tax season. That's a prime example of when there's a greater usage and greater need to ensure that people are able to access that information. The third area has to do with business risk. And really, that's a question for the agency. Do we have an understanding, a true understanding of what the risks are as well as the impacts are to the mission if that system were to fail or we have an issue with that service provider? We also have to understand what level of risk are we willing to tolerate. These are just a few of the questions we have to ask ourselves. There's plenty more out there, but these are the ones that we've been focusing on.